which we have today, it is actually a session which Pankajanghri Prabhu and myself will give together. We thought for a long time, not a long time, but since yesterday when we took prasadam together, Pankajanghri Prabhu and myself, we were thinking, how should we conduct this last session? And it seemed to me that the best way to do this to Vijaya session, yes, we have to say to Vijaya now, goodbye, because the summer camp ends. The best way to do this really is to see if there are any last questions which you might have had during the summer camp and which you wanted to pose, but which but there was no opportunity to ask them. Maybe there are some questions left over from the lecture of Pankajanghri Prabhu in the morning or some other lectures and programs. This is a time when we can churn a little bit our understanding, and we can collect a little bit the jewels which we have found at the summer camp. So we will see. These questions should not just be questions so that you say something or so, but go deep into your heart and see. I definitely have a question to Pankajanghri Prabhu, which I think you will be happy to answer. So please search your heart a little for questions. We will sing Jai Radha Madhava. It's a good time for you to go. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Sisi Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Karuna Radha Gopinath Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Mathura Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Samavita Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premanam All glories to the Assembly Glories to the Assembly Glories to the Assembly Glories to CC All glories to CC it was said that we attain the perfection of our spiritual life by service to two Bhagavats. One of these two Bhagavats which we should serve is the transcendental scripture which the Lord has revealed, which is given to humanity from the transcendental world and brought here into this world by a Guru Parampara, a line of disciplic succession. The second Bhagavat whom we should serve is the personality in whose heart this knowledge lives. It's a pure devotee. We have now come to the end of our summer camp, and I would like to remember with you this morning two Dovijenya addresses by Srila Prabhupada. Addresses where he said goodbye to his disciples. One was a small goodbye, and the second was a big goodbye. We only say the small goodbye. A small goodbye where I was there was when Prabhupada addressed all of us in the Vrindavan Krishna Balaram temple just before we ended our pilgrimage in India and returned to the West. We would, after the lecture, go into buses and go to the Delhi airport, and from there fly either to Europe or America or from wherever we had come to be with Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan for the opening of the Krishna Balaram Mandir. So Srila Prabhupada must have felt that we were a little bit sad to leave Vrindavan, and at the end of his lecture he asked us, so, like he always did, so, how did you like Vrindavan? So all of us, knowing that in a few hours we wouldn't be any longer in Vrindavan, said with a voice full of sadness, very much, we liked so much. And Prabhupada then made a point. He said, now it is your duty, when you leave Vrindavan, to bring Vrindavan with you to the Western world. Prabhupada had earlier informed us that Vrindavan, the land where Krishna performs his pastimes, is not a dot on the Indian land map, but it is a state of consciousness which was shared or is shared by the residents of Vrindavan. That state of consciousness is that the Krishna is in the center. Western world or Bosnian world or Croatian world, Serbian world means where we put ourselves in the center. It's the world of the egos. But the spiritual world is where God is put into the center. Everything is done for His pleasure, and everything is done with Him in mind. So now Prabhupada said, you should take Vrindavan, that is this consciousness where everyone serves Krishna, Nanda, Baba, Yashoda, Sridham, Sakai, even the trees and the rivers in Vrindavan, in the spirit of Vrindavan, serve Krishna. This idea should be, he reminded us, take this with you and you will never leave Vrindavan. And Prabhupada proved this throughout his life. Sometimes, it was in New York where I remember someone from the audience asked him, are you here, Swamiji? Are you with us? And he said, no, I'm always in Vrindavan. This was, so Prabhupada's, the English word is, I believe, sent us off or said goodbye to us with these words. Take this consciousness with you, where Krishna is in the center, and you will be in Vrindavan. The second send-off or Dovijenya was the big Dovijenya. It was the time when we saw Prabhupada for the last time. It was a few months before his departure. Srila Prabhupada had come one last time to the West by airplane to see his Western disciples for what would prove to be the final darshan. He felt or he knew that he would soon leave the body, and he was in two minds in the beginning of where he should do this. One idea he had is, he expressed it like this: I want to die on the battlefield of spreading Krishna consciousness. I want to die while I do my work, that is to preach. And he had requested that we make arrangements to make his Samadhi mandir on a New York skyscraper. That was one idea he had. But towards the end, he wanted to go back to Vrindavan and leave his body there. He said, Vrindavan is my home. and he went to that. But anyways, on his last journey, this was a possibility to go to the West for Prabhupada and then leave his body there. Then he was entertaining the thought, or was thinking of this. He knew he would soon leave. So it was in London where he received us a last time. Prahlādananda Maharaj had spoken about this. We were devotees from Germany who engaged in the mission of book distribution, and we knew we enjoyed a special favor in Srila Prabhupada's mind, at least that's what we thought. So we came from Germany and we requested a personal audience, and Prabhupada granted this. And I remember when I came back, I came into the room where he received us, I immediately knew this would be the last time. I just felt it. And I was very, very upset, you can say. I was so upset that somehow I was breathing heavily, and my garment, my dhoti, just loosened and began to glide down my legs, fell down. So by Krishna's mercy, I noticed it, but if I would not have noticed it, that would not be good. So I quickly tied everything up, and it was all right. Then the next thing I knew was Prabhupada, who was sitting in a rocking chair. He asked us, so, again a so. When Prabhupada started a sentence with so, you knew it would be a deep sentence. So, we were all looking at him, what would come now? Have you understood our philosophy? And he looked at us, expecting answers. So he often did this. He asked his disciples questions, and then when he tested how much they had understood, and he would then correct them if there was a need for correction, or he was satisfied with the answers. This was one of his ways of teaching. He would not only speak, he would not just only speak knowledge, but he would ask, have you understood? Tell me what you know. And then he would respond to that. So I knew that this was the last darshan, and I didn't want to say anything foolish, so I kept silence. And some of my godbrothers answered questions, and Prabhupada was not satisfied with the answers. He had something specific in his mind. I will not go through all the answers and what Prabhupada said, because I want to go directly to the point. Prabhupada said, first of all, you have to understand that life is eternal. Wow. Should I repeat it? Because it's so deep. First of all, you have to understand that life is eternal. He had often spoken about this. For instance, here is electricity in the lamp. The lamp could, in theory, be destroyed by humidity, or maybe someone takes a stick and kills the lamp. But the electricity will not be harmed. It will go on, no matter if there is this light bulb or not. So life, or the eternal soul, is not really affected by what happens outside. And I want to say this to you also as a final message. My dear devotees, sometimes life is not easy in the Balkans because we are so temperamentful here. We have so much emotional lives, and sometimes without wanting it, maybe, devotees say things and they become discouraged in some ways by hearing things. But please, go back to the position of the beginning of transcendental philosophy. Don't become discouraged. When you are mentally hurt, or when you are physically hurt and ill or sick, don't become discouraged. You, as an eternal soul, are not affected by this. It's only due to the identification of the soul with the temporary body that you are affected. It's only an illusion. It's not real. So this can be practiced slowly, slowly, slowly. And one best way to practice that is when you do your service. Just continue your service no matter what the external circumstances are. Sometimes you are praised and everyone says, you are the best temple president of the universe, and at other times everyone says, you are not even the shadow of a temple president. What to do? This is the material world. It goes up and down. It's called the world of dualities. Just like there will be always a day followed by the night, praise will always be followed by defamation or the opposite of praise. Just like there will always be, let me say, cold and hot, there will be health and there will be illness. It is natural. This is to be expected in the world. But you are the light. You are not the bulb. Bulb? You understand? Bulb? How do we say bulb? Scienza. Scienza. Not Siyalitza. So simple. Siyalitza. You are not the Siyalitza. Not at all. You are the light. Jai Guru Jagannath. You are the light, not the Siyalitza. It's a good motto, isn't it? I'm the light. I'm not the Siyalitza. So these two messages I would like to give, just as a thought-provoking thing. I will now turn to our Pankajanghri Prabhu, who has gladdened all of us by his visit to Serbia. Please come back again and again, Pankajanghri Prabhu. Do not consider us to be wild and barbarian. Please come again and again, come back. Two messages in two sentences. Take Vrindavan with you. Second is, live in the understanding that you are the soul and not the body, or you are the Svetla light. Svetlo and not the Siyalitza. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, there are no questions. Why there are no questions? It is the duty of the disciple to question the spiritual master. Why there are no questions? This was Srila Prabhupada in his room in Mayapur. This day was, Prabhupada had a very, very heavy presence when he came in
and sat down. We'd have darshan every night. Prabhupada was a very heavy, grave presence. And Prabhupada was looking round and everyone. So then he asked that question, so, are there any questions? And it got even more intense. Why there are no questions? Even more intense. Pin drop silence. It's the duty of the disciple to question the spiritual master. Why there are no questions? Even more intense. Everyone was scared to say something. So then somebody ventured a question. And it was a question like, Srila Prabhupada, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Queen Kunti says this, is this a fact? Prabhupada said, you fool! It is said in this Bhagavatam and you're asking if it's a fact. This is not the question to ask the spiritual master. Even more intense. Yogananda Maharaj asked the pertinent question and broke the ice. Everything was peaceful. Talking about the consciousness and the Dham. Prabhupada said it's a state of consciousness. And when we built the temple in Mayapur, the original temple, it was about as long as this room here. Prabhupada's Vyasasana is at one side and the temple deity room was on the other. So they asked Prabhupada, this is like the end of the hall, your Vyasasana will be there, but we're thinking maybe it's too far from the deities for you. Prabhupada said, there is no question of separation between me and Krishna.
Are there any questions now? I see Madhavananda is there. Govindananda. Wow, so much. Our Gaspadine is there. Narana. Oh, we have enough. Prema Moti. Eva is there. Helena, I believe. Helena. So let us start with these devotees. Who was the first? Madhavananda. Can we give a microphone, please? A wandering, traveling microphone. It traveled too far. Yeah, excellent. No, it's it should be. Done? No.
There is only one, but it's for translation.
Translation, yes. Oh, okay. So, Madhavananda, speak loud. You're a young man. No problem.
Bhakti Vinod Thakur mentioned in Jaiva Dhamma that actually Vrinda Devi is not Bhakti Devi, and Bhakti Devi is actually Vishnu Priya is Bhakti Devi. And I want to ask who is Bhakti Devi in Krishna Lila?
Would you like to answer? Okay. Bhakti Devi is, I'm happy that I know this. Bhakti Devi is an expansion of Srimati Radharani in Krishna Lila. Bhakti Devi is that divine energy. She is a personality, but if she empowers someone with bhakti. And that means there is knowledge all of a sudden in his heart, and all of a sudden he will find transcendental bliss or great happiness in the heart. So Srimati Radharani is the personification, and her expansion is Bhakti Devi. When you pray to Srimati Radharani, you can ask, please give me bhakti. And then the beautiful goddess of bhakti, Bhakti Devi, will come into your heart and enliven it. You can see on the altar, Srimati Radharani has raised one of her hands for blessings. And her blessings is this to the devotees in the world, the blessings of bhakti. So So in Gauranga Lila, she's Vishnu Priya, Bhakti Devi is Vishnu Priya, or comes from Vishnu Priya, or is Vishnu Priya. And in Gaura Lila, no, sorry, Krishna Lila, she is Shrimati Radharani. I made an operation on my Vivek. See, there is Tulasi, Maharani, Vrinda Devi, and then it said here Bhakti Devi. But I'm not so, I myself am very useless in these things, so I gave it to a person who knows how to do these things. I removed Bhakti Devi here because it's a common misunderstanding amongst devotees that Vrinda Devi and Bhakti Devi and Tulsi Devi are one tattva. Vrinda Devi and Tulsi Devi are one tattva, but Bhakti Devi is an extra tattva. She's an extension of Shrimati Radharani. Beautiful Vivek now. Good. Please let us hear the next question. Who raised the hands and Govinda Nandan?
My question is regarding the lecture of Pankajanghri. So maybe I can just do a question for when he spoke.
When you spoke,
yes,
you can address it directly.
Yes, on the morning lecture, and described wonderfully how we should help ourselves in Krishna consciousness by practicing everything for the service of Krishna. I had one thing that bothers me. Sometimes it is not easy to practice Krishna consciousness because of the habits and patterns that we are used to function, and we do not consciously see that we act from the habit or from some pattern. So my question is, do we need to make it conscious to be able to deal with it, or the process of chanting and devotional service can cleanse it without necessarily make this unnecessary question, unwanted habits and patterns conscious?
If you're aware of it, that's better. This is called ananta nivritti. The anantas will come up, and you'll become aware of them, because the mind is now becoming peaceful in the moment of goodness. So then you become aware of these things. If you're aware of it, then it's easier to address it, obviously. The chanting Hare Krishna will take care of everything. All the good qualities of the demigods will appear sooner or later. But better sooner than later. So if you can identify it, then you can work on it specifically. The best way to spot these anarthas is regulation. To make your life regulated. Then when you're doing the same thing, same time every day, then when something new comes in, you'll be able to spot it. But if you're not regulated, and things are coming all the time, this way, that way, better to be regulated is a good way to be able to perceive these anarthas.
Wonderful answer. I just read, by the way, and you will like this, Pankajanghri Prabhu and also Govindanand. Prabhupada wrote, regulation is the foundation of spiritual life. So, any other devotee, please? Yes, Prabhu.
I wanted to ask you, Pankajanghri Prabhu also addressed it in the morning lecture, and you were Maharaj also speaking about it, how to control our mind. And Pankajanghri Prabhu, he was speaking very nicely how to detach ourselves from the thoughts. But you, Maharaj, also said that you had example that by changing those desires, in attaching them to Krishna, that you can spiritualize them. So can you please a little speak about that side? How can you really change those desires? And can you not just push them down under the carpet, but really transform them? Because I saw that when you are pushing them under the carpet, they sometimes arose after some time and then make a mess. So how to properly handle them?
Yes. The psychotherapist C.G. Jung gives a very interesting example for what happens when you repress and suppress desires. He says that this will be like a shop owner. He has in the shop window all the items which sell good, and the items which are not selling so good, he puts in the cellar. So in the same way, we as human beings tend to somehow project a very good image to the world. We are very good, we are very intelligent and beautiful, and we are knowledgeable. This is what we want to show the world, this type of face. But it may not be so, and we may have desires to watch a football play, Brazil against Germany. Oh, I could die to see this. We may not be so the way we present ourselves to the public eye. Now, if you have these desires and they continue, and you just suppress them, put them in the cellar like the shop owner, because we know this doesn't go very well with the public. So after some time, these little things come like gremlins. Gremlins is ghosts up the cellar staircase, and then they jump into your shop window, and everyone sees, look at him, he fell down. It's called a shadow breakthrough in psychology, or suppressed desires which are also there, which were not dealt with, are just violently demanding attention, and we do something really foolish, really foolish, and we can't understand why we could do this. No one can understand. It's very simple. It's something which we were not dealing with, and it came up. It is very normal in psychology. So prema murti, and it's very normal in human experience. I can see with my eyes about 10 people here who had a shadow breakthrough, and everyone was going like, how is it possible? But I can see 50 who did this where no one noticed, because they were able to keep it hidden from the public eye. It is normal. So how to deal with this in a responsible way? Krishna. Narottam Das Thakur says we should engage these propensities in Krishna's service in an intelligent way. Lust and greed, I'm speaking now of the intense ones, can be engaged to hear more. I always tell the devotees, become a nectar hunter, not a woman hunter. It's better. It will be better. And become a nectar hunter. Become just very intense. I want the nectar. I want the nectar. Nectar has to come to me, And this will be better. This will be better than to be a woman hunter. And other things. I don't want to just put it on. There are many things which one could do. Krishna. So you have to. It's like Pankajanghri Prabhu said. It's good if you become aware of what is there, and then engage that in a responsible way in Krishna consciousness. And my suggestion to you is, listen very carefully now. Now I will say something which you will not like to hear. My suggestion is, talk about it to someone, bring it out, talk to someone you can trust and who is trustworthy and who doesn't put it on the Serbian internet immediately, and then get some advice, some spiritual advice, how to deal with this, how can I transform this. Don't keep it for yourself. When you are able to entrust this to one devotee, already half of the battle is won. Half of the battle is won. There's a magic in this, revealing one's weakness to a trusted devotee. Not just, you must be very careful. You want to trust a devotee, a confidential devotee who is applying the wisdom of yesterday's 5 o'clock session. Don't talk so much, don't find fault, just respect the others, and don't become Goran, what was the word for this? Upijač. Don't become an upijač of others' mistake by talking about them. Upijač, do you understand this? So, there's lots to be said about this. You have to become a student of the Vedic way. I talk a lot of transformation of emotions there, a lot, because it is a very important subject matter for spiritual people. Yes, please.
The revealing of one mind to someone in confidence, our superior. That's one of the 6 symptoms of love. That's what we're supposed to be doing. If the desire is there, and there's 2 things. One is to suppress it, and one is just to go for it. So the liberals say, don't suppress it, it's going to blow up. But according to but first you have to consider, is it favorable for Krishna consciousness or not? If it's not, then you've got to suppress it. You have to. So it's really a question of tolerance. How much you can tolerate that thing? How much does it mean to you? If you can't tolerate it, then you have to address it. So then we have to address it in our framework. You know, intoxication is sex, media, and gambling. That space, that area we have is a big area, and then you'll address that in a way that is recommended, as Maharaj said, by Krishna or through the scripture. That is religion. How to regulate those desires. That's religion, material religion. But if you can dovetail it in Krishna service, this is what we actually want. So tolerate it as much as you can. Right? Then, when it needs addressing, how to address it? How does Krishna say to address it? Directly or through the scripture. Right?
Who's the next devotee?
We know that here in the heart, the soul is staying, also super soul is staying, and also the mind is staying. How we can for sure know that this inner voice which is coming from heart is coming from super soul and not is coming from material mind, unpurified mind, so that we can act in a proper way, not in a wrong way. Also within others.
When you ask this question, if you have to ask this question, then it's a mind. If it's a super soul, you're going to know. If you don't know, then it's a mind.
This is a wonderful devotee. He speaks concise. We have to be very attentive. There were other devotees, please. If Fabina will now take some marches, yes,
We were talking a lot about crossing the river, and I was just visualizing it and wondering, since we are not taking the body, we are not taking the mind and intelligence, so what about the character? Will we even recognize each other in the spiritual world?
I will translate your question in a more general way. At the time of death, when we leave the body and the mind behind, what happens with our character? And then another question: when we suppose we go to the spiritual world, will we recognize each other? Will we say, "Oh, I remember you were the Serbian Sahaja, like this"? Will we recognize in some way? And when you are in the, let me first of all get the understanding correct. When the soul leaves the body, it will take with him or with himself the subtle material mind, the impressions, and of course also the conditioned nature, which is composed out of the mind, the ego, the intelligence. He will take this with himself. Now when the soul and enter into a new material body, now when the soul leaves the material world altogether and does not take on a new material body, then listen to this, it said he will burn the mind, the subtle body. All these sanskaras will be burned. The example has been given of firewood is burned by the fire, or in a healthy digestion, food is digested or burned in a way by in the stomach. So in the spiritual world, good news for you, you won't have your material mind there, and your conditioned nature. It's burned. It's gone. It's not there. You will be a purified soul. There will be no things. There will be also no remembrance of the material world. All this, what is now so important for you, is gone. In that way, we will not recognize each other like this. I remember talking about this with the devotees when John Lennon and his partner or wife, I do not know how to say, Yoko Ono, they were. Do you know John Lennon? No need. Yes, very successful singer, leader of the music group, the Beatles. He came to Srila Prabhupada with his wife or partner, whom he was very affectionate to, and said, "Prabhupada, can you bless us that we will be together in the spiritual world, as to recognize us?" And Prabhupada said, "That's not the business of the sadhu." And he indicated that this is not, you have one relationship. If I believe it or not, you have one relationship to the perfect personality, that is Krishna. And that relationship, or Srimati Radharani, and that we want to develop. And through that relationship, you will know the other pure servants. Very nice. May I just know, Deva Prasta, and are you leaving us? Good. I have a very, very beautiful thing for you and your wife. I want to give you.
We will say it throughout lunch.
Wonderful.
I also have a question.
Soon you will ask the question. There will now be another Margiti, and then afterwards you will ask. Yes.
How do we avoid the regulation becoming a dull routine?
How do we avoid that regulation becomes a dull routine? I would really love to ask this question to Pankajanghri Prabhu. It was my question also. And I want to ask Pankajanghri Prabhu, because he and his brother are our long-term pujaris. And pujari work really means every day. At the same time you get up and you do certain procedures and ceremonies. And I was really wondering, I wanted to ask this question to you since a long time, Pankajanghri, and now our Bhakti has asked this question. Thank you very much. It's a very good question. It's my question also. I think all of us would love to hear the answer. So how to avoid that routine or even regulated life becomes a dull, how avoid that a regulated life becomes a dull routine?
Although you may be doing the same things at the same time every day is always different, isn't it? Every time you do something, the same thing, but there's always a different mode, The best thing, but we have to be advanced in consciousness, is to be in the present. But this service that we're doing this with Krishna. We're cleaning this paraphernalia because it's Krishna's paraphernalia. It's got to clean it the best. Whatever we're doing, whether it's directly Krishna or indirectly Krishna, we have to think that this is service to Krishna. He's the best person, so we should do it in the best possible way. So we're absorbed in the service, but the service is for Krishna when it's indirect. We're absorbed in that service. The service is Krishna's service, so it's Krishna's seeing us, even though we may not be remembering him at that particular time. It is a problem for especially the young people when they become pujaris, because they see, you're doing this tomorrow, the next day, they don't see any end. But generally we like some result. We're result oriented. And it's always good like that, to be result oriented. Because if you want to be steady, one has to be in a mode of goodness, which is a rare commodity. Satyagun. So then what we generally do to inspire and ourselves is to talk of the next festival which is coming up, how we can improve the next festival and what we can do to expand. So it gives them something, an end. There's an end in sight, there's a objective. So this way we have to keep them encouraged, something like that. But it's just a question of advancement. Otherwise, it does become, if you're not conscious of what you're actually doing and why we're doing it, then it does become repetition. It's a question of advancement. You have to pass through that stage.
I would just like to add to this something which Pankajanghri Prabhu said yesterday in his lecture, which I also wanted to, which I repeated in different words in my own lecture. What you need to really do so that your life becomes fresh in whatever you do and does not become a routine day after. There's a song in America, Monday the same, Tuesday the same, Wednesday the same, Thursday the same, Friday more of the same, Saturday much more of the same, and Sunday again the same. And this is a song. It is presented by the Fox with G, it is a musical group. It is echoing what the materialist sees when he lives his life. It's he is so dull and so on. So Pankajanghri Prabhu said in his lecture something which and now in his answer he mentioned just in one word. You have to come in the presence. You have to see, what am I doing just now? This moment. And when it is something, and then you will see, well, I'm actually doing this for Krishna, or in an indirect way, it is in connection with Krishna, because my life is in connection with Krishna. I'm his devotee. So then you bring some light into the darkness. It happens to me in kirtan. Sometimes, I do so many kirtans, and always the same melodies. It starts slow. In the middle, it's a little faster. In the end, it's super fast. Then Hari Bol, and Jayam Vishnu Pad. Again. And I have to sing sometimes for 2 hours, non-stop. Oh, again, 2 hours. How will I survive these 2 hours? Everyone thinks I'm an advanced devotee. I'm not. I'm so bored. This is so... I would rather like to read something or talk with my god brother and so on. But then I do this trick I'm going into the present. Wow, I'm singing now the Hare Krishna mantra. Now I'm singing Hare. Ooh, it's the name of Radharani. Krishna, name of Krishna. How could I forget? I was thinking about slow, a little faster, super fast, and Hari Bol. But this is the name of the Lord. This happens when you bring your consciousness into the present moment. Because this is a new point for us here in Serbia, I wanted to again say it. I know that about 50% of you will forget this, but 50% will remember it. And when you remember it, act in the presence. Be there in what you do. Be connected. Don't be disconnected. Don't think of what you will do in the future, or what you have done in the past. Just be now there, and you will see miracles in your life. It's so simple, but spiritual things, the real truths are extremely simple. So I have taken my time now. The next question goes to Pankajanghri Prabhu. Deva Prashna Prabhu, please ask your question. Deva Prashna. Sorry.
I apologize if this question was already asked in one of the previous lectures during this camp. But I spoke with a devotee who revealed his mind to me, and I also found that I have the same problem. And it's about losing taste for chanting. Would you please be so kind to give us some practical steps how to, again, regain our taste for chanting?
No namacharyas. For the soul. I will give you a method which is foolproof. It will work. Maybe some strong Govindananda, you are the man of flip charts, you can help Nityananda. It has to do don't tell your name, I know it. Dira Prashanta, what other name? This is the best name. Yes. Dira Prashanta. I have watched you chanting over the summer camp. I didn't have other opportunities. And I was thinking, if Dira Prashanta would ever ask me, how to gain taste in his japa. I would tell him this. So now you are asking, and that's why I'm taking the question.
Do we have a working pen, please? Yes, here. These are mountains. This is a river. This is the back. Oops.
The river of the holy name is coming since time immemorial here into the world as the most merciful of Krishna's incarnation. The name is there. It is chanted by great devotees like Narada Muni, Sanat Kumar, Lord Shiva, and so on. It is a river of nectar which is there. Now here is Dira Prashanta. Sometimes he tries to run away from the chanting of the holy name. The mind goes away. Now, if you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Pasnian, Berg, Krishna, Hare Hare, Situationsky, Chamsky, Sarajevum, and so on. It is the mind goes away from this chanting and goes somewhere else. So what you need to do at the very beginning of your chanting, you need to turn and go to the holy name, this other direction. And the way you enter that river is you must concentrate your attention on where the river begins for you. That is the first Hari, or to say it in Pankajanghri, Prabhu's very, very expert philosophy. In the present, what is going on now? Hari is going on. There you bring Hari. You connect with this. And as you do this, the first Hari, in the beginning it will always be, you can only do one Hari at a time. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. In the beginning, just only the first Hari, not more. You are a beginner. You do simple work, the first Hari. Then as you enter the river with the first Hari, you will soon be in the river. He's Tila Prashanta. He's a little half in it. Half, not fully. But after some time, when you are entering into this river through the first Hari, you let go of everything else. No technique any longer. No longer being in the presence. You just float in the nectar of the holy name. This is Lila Prashanta. You just go like this. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Sorry. This is, I made it super simple and try to even make an illustration so that Kishori will be proud of me, that I'm also a painter. But this, let us now speak very philosophically. The mantra is there, but you are not there. You have to connect, and you do this through a simple concentration exercise, the first hari. And after some time, it will work. The mantra will catch hold of you, and then you can let go of any technique and just swim in the nectar of the holy name. There are many other techniques. Come to a japa retreat. Many are given, Giriraj, Maharaj, and everywhere. But this is a simple mantra for immediate application. Thank you so much. Someone in the room is doing Reiki here. I'm almost free from pain. Whoever it is, thank you very much. Ooh. Good. Question, please. Ishwarapuri. Yes.
I have basically two questions connected in one.
Pankajanghri, prabhu, he knows more than me. Please ask him. Because I can't I just talked on one.
Well, if you want to directly address Maharaj, then someone else can ask a question, you can ask the next one.
Yes, okay. Let us park yourself. Now, another question. Here, our Prabhu. Your name is Deva. Yes.
I have read in Shastras one interesting statement that impersonalities know that he is internal, and devotee act as internal. And I can find myself that I know I am internal, but very often my acting is not like I'm internal. So how to switch? How to switch from knowing, maybe knowing that we are eternal, to the side where we are devotees, we act.
Deva Prabhu, Deva, only Deva, just Deva. Deva Prabhu asked, he heard that once in some book he read of ours, that the impersonalist only knows that he is eternal, but he doesn't act. The impersonalist only knows, whereas the devotee knows and acts on the eternal platform. But he is asking himself how I can make my theoretical knowledge that I'm eternal practical and act really that I'm an eternal servant, eternal soul in the service of Krishna. Question. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. 16 rounds and follow the four-way principles. We can't understand eternality. We can't understand eternality. How will we understand it? With the intellect? With the mind? With intelligence? It's beyond that. You can't actually understand eternality. You can experience it, you can't understand it.
Very deep answer. Can't understand it. I remember once there was a very important person, Graf Durkheim, Baron Durkheim, who asked the same question to Srila Prabhupada. He, in a different way, he said, how do you make your students practically realize that they are eternal? He had an experience in the Second World War that he was shot by some bullets and came down on the battlefield, and then he left his body and saw his wounded body, which was put into a big plastic bag and removed from the battlefield. He could see it all as from an observer position. He followed it. So he said, during this moment I understood I'm different from the body, but how do you make your students understand that they are eternal? So Prabhupada said something like Pankajanghri Prabhu. Pankajanghri Prabhu, you have to see, his answers are very spiritual. Prabhupada said, I just tell them what Krishna says in the Gita, that's all. So Baron Durkheim, that's all? I mean, you don't give them a meditation technique, you don't some technique. No, I'm just telling them, that's all. Because it's a fact that mind, which is material, cannot understand the spirit. But the spirit can reveal itself, spiritual knowledge. Ishvara Puri, I believe you were the next one.
Guru Maharaj, we know, at least theoretically, we are not this body. We know that you are not this body theoretically, and we are also taught, and in Srila Prabhupada's teachings, he says we should not set the foolish questions as disciples. My question is related. I wanted to ask it yesterday on disciple meeting, but I didn't. And later I got the same questions from some friends. The question is, how are you? We see something in your arms and head, and I don't know. So, how are you? How is your body? What can we do? We know that Srila Prabhupada, when he didn't feel well, that disciples were praying. So we are asking, what can we do?
I can tell you personally, it's not really in a public forum like this. Yes, I think our philosophical gospodin, we have not given you a chance. I just remember. Would you like? Is your question still relevant, or is it answered already? I saw your hand was up in the beginning, and it's unfair to not take you. Please ask your question. But try to be brief. This is now your chance to, in three sentences, you will make it. No problem. 3 sentences.
So it was question from the lecture Pankajanghri Prabhu from Thursday.
To je Bhagavad Gita 7.5, znanje o apsolutu.
7.5, the knowledge of absolute.
Pankajanghri Prabhu je na toj lekciji 2 puta pomenuo set pitanja.
Pankajanghri Prabhu 2 times mentioned the set of the questions.
Ko smo mi, koji je naš stvarni položaj?
Who are we, what is our constitutional position?
Šta je materijalna energija?
What is material energy?
I zašto patimo u ovom materijalnom
And
svijetu?
why are we suffering in this material world?
Ista ova pitanja je postavio Srila Sacinandana Swami Pankajanghri.
The same question Sacinandana Swami said to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
U čemu je značaj ovih pitanja?
What is the substance, what is the importance of these questions?
I zašto ih je Sanatana Goswami postavio, iako je bio veoma učen?
And why did Sanatana Goswami question them when he was so learned?
Well, he said people are calling me learned, and I'm believing it sometimes. But actually I don't know who I am. So therefore I'm asking you. Well, he didn't actually, of course he got great instructions, but at that particular time he said, I don't know whether I'm this mind, the body, or the intelligence, but whatever I am, if I think I'm this body, then I'm using this body in your service. Whatever I am, whatever I think I am, I don't know who I am, but whatever I think I am, I'm using in your service. That was his position. So that's what we do. Whoever we are, whatever faculty we have, we use that in Krishna's service. If we're the body, we use the body in the service. So sometimes the soul is called the body, sometimes the soul is referred to as a mind, sometimes and so whatever it is, whatever we identify with, that we engage in Krishna's service. Then it's simple. Then everyone can engage in service. Not you have to wait to come to an intellectual or spiritual platform before you can engage in service to Krishna. By Mahaprabhu's mercy. Whatever situation you're in, from that platform you can serve Krishna. Without even realizing who you are.
Hare Krishna. I now seeing the time factor. Do you also see it?
No.
It's 9:20. It's a very enlivening question and answer session, but time is also there, no? No time. Last day. We can maybe go, I saw Goran all the time and then Kripa Sindhu. Kripa Sindhu. Kripapala, yes. So first Goran.
Thank you very much, Pankajanghri Prabhu. As a Pujari, you had Leelas in the days. Can you share something?
Nectar at last.
Nectar, yes.
I'll tell you one. A young boy from Bengal ran away to Bollywood to become a movie star. Didn't quite make it, but he ended up washing glasses in a tea shop. But fortunately that tea shop was right outside our Jew temple. Somehow or other he found time to go in because he used to work from morning till night and sleep on the bench. But he met the devotees and decided this is a better life than what I'm living. Let me join. So anyway, they said you go to Mayapur, you're from that side. So he joined the Bhakti program. He was there for a few months. Meanwhile, his father, they were frantic, his only son. So they were searching all over the place and making inquiries, they couldn't find him. Then one relative came and said, hey, we went to Mayapur, came to Doi Mandir, and we thought we saw your son there. He had a shaved head, but he walked like him. I think it was uncle. I think it was him. So immediately they came down to Mayapur and made inquiries in the office, but they couldn't find any information of the son. And the whole day they were searching here, there, asking, but nothing. In the evening during the Sunday Arati, then after we have the Shingadev Arati there, we have the temple. So she was praying to the Shingadev, Prabhu, last time I came here I was also chanting Hare Krishna with everyone, but now my life is almost left me, my only son has left, I can't take any happiness in life anymore. Lord, if only you would return my son to me, then I would also raise my hands and chant Hari Bol. as soon as she finished praying, her son walked between her and the Shingadev and stopped. And they became very inspired. They became initiated and they started Namhat Center. Sing Bhagavan Ki.
Kripa Pala.
Ja mislim da je već Goran me preduhitrio. Jer sam imao kompletno identično pitanje.
He had the same question.
A pošto nas jako zanima žuta štampa.
Because we are interested in yellow pages.
Može li Pankajanghri prabhu još koju?
If Pankajanghri Prabhu can say one more.
Yes, for more than.
Yes, more nectar, please. Also one.
Okay, one from China. You'll know this one. Do you like it?
You want to hear?
In Mayapur, Rajapur, 5 kilometers from our temple in Mayapur, there's ancient deities, self-manifest deities of Lord Jagannath. On Snan Yatra, that's the biggest festival because generally they don't observe Rath Yatra in Vrindavan because that Rath Yatra is bringing Krishna to Vrindavan. So Mayapur is not different from Vrindavan, so generally they don't observe. But because of the devotees' love for Jagannath, they've made one. But anyway, on Snan Yatra, that's the biggest festival. Before we had the temple, they used to worship Jagannath on that specific day. That was the only day in the year they would cook for him. The worship was very low. But and then there'll be, everyone can come and bathe the deity, and there'll be big prasad distribution. Thousands of people will come, the local people. And one devotee took some prasadam, and he took one cup of prasadam for his friend, who's a rickshaw driver, but he's a Muslim. So he gave him, here, take this Jagannath prasadam, and we don't eat food from idols. Next morning he came back and offered some items of worship to the pujari. Could you please offer this to Lord Jagannath? And can you give me some prasadam from yesterday? So he thought, oh, I can give you some fresh prasadam, just made an offer. No, I want from yesterday. He said, how come you want yesterday's prasadam? You're a Muslim? What's going on? He said, well, actually, yesterday I had that prasadam. He said, but I made a great offense. And it almost cost me my life. Last night, my dream, his white one, he threw me on the ground, and he jumped on me and started beating me and pounding me, very angry. He said, I will finish you. I said, no, don't kill me. He said, yes, you deserve to die. I said, very angry. He said, please have mercy, have mercy. Mercy? Mercy? You're asking me for mercy? My brother is the most merciful. He's so merciful because you rascals cannot see him. He's appeared as a piece of wood. And he's so merciful, he stays right to the end of Kali Yuga. And you especially worship him by honoring his prasadam. And you had that prasad, and you threw it, and you're asking me for mercy. I'll show you mercy. I'll give you a new body. This is a mercy. No, have mercy. He said, then the yellow one, she was laughing. She said, very good, kill it. Black one, he's also laughing. He said, no. I think he's learned his lesson. So then they managed to find some prasadam from yesterday, and he took it with great respect. Pujari was dressing the deity, and you put it on these necklaces from the deity, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the last necklace fell off. So he picked it up and fixed it again it fell off. So he put it on, fixed it very securely, again it fell off. What's going on? He picked it up, Lord Jagannath spoke to him, said, I don't want any more, don't you understand?
One more.
Same Pujari was sick. He did the noon offering, put the days to rest. And this was, when we first got that temple, it was very, very run down, small temple, hardly anyone was going there. So he told the chowkidar, the guard, that look, I'm going to take rest, and I got a fever, I'm really sick, and I won't wake the deities up at 4 o'clock. No one's coming home, and there's no other pujari there this time. I'll wake them up late when I need some rest, so don't wake me up. I'm not going to. So then he took rest, and in the dream, Jagannath came. Uti, what's going on? You're a little fever, and you want to stop our service? You're not too sick to take prasada. You didn't give that up. And you're doing your bhajan. This is love kirtan, this book. You're not too sick to do those things, but our service you're too sick. Come on, get up. And he woke up. But he said I was really wiped out. So then he went back to sleep for a little while. Hey, wake up, it's 4 o'clock. It was a guard. He said, I told you don't wake me up. Come on, you got to wake me up. Oh, this is too much. Too many omens. I have to wake. So he got up. And he was waking Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath spoke to him. Actually, we'd like you to do our service. We'd like you to do our service. The other pujari, he's very absent-minded. He's not very careful, you know. When he's dressing us sometimes, he's pinning our clothes, and he sticks a pin in us. Yes, you pull up my chadar, you'll see. Pull the chadar, and then saw a spot of blood on Jagannath's arm. And that's why he...
Please, one more.
Let me ask the question to Marva Muni. Marva Muni, how is the prasadam situation? Is it ready or?
There was no offering yet.
No offering, so we have. Let us please see, because I know you have to catch a bus and all this. What is?
It will be in 30 minutes.
So we should continue a little. We can continue a little. Good. Yeah, our last chance. Yes, our last chance. So maybe we can ask Pankajanghri Prabhu to tell us one last story about the deity. Yeah, and then we can continue with any other questions. We have about 20 more minutes. But then I know devotees will have to go. I know it. And okay, yes. Sorry, we are milking you. Goran started all this.
One time, Pujari was sitting in front of the temple, and then one man came running in and he said, Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Where did they go? He said, those two boys. And no one came in. He said, Daddy, I was right behind them. They just ran through here. You didn't see them. You didn't see one was a little dark, one was a little light. He said, no, what happened? He said, well, I'm guarding this orchard. This is an orchard, mangoes and jackfruit. So he said, he said, I saw the boys, they was up the tree stealing my jackfruit. And I shouted, hey, I shouted, and they snatched the jackfruit and run away. You didn't see them? I was right behind them. He said they jumped down the tree so quick, and one of them tore the cloth. It was a very special cloth, very strange, very ornate. So he said, hey, let me see that. Said, that's Jagannath's cloth. When they saw Jagannath had a ripped charter, then they found the jackfruit on the side of the temple.
Rajpur, it's all from Rajpur, the Jagannath temple, near 5 kilometers, I believe, from our Sri Lanka. Beautiful temple. You must go there. Pankajanghri Prabhu has now shared different leelas of these deities, and I heard they are very merciful. Many devotees have reported something. All right, so other questions are there? Let me see. I can see there is one Mataji in the back who has not yet asked. Sorry? And here is Helena. Yes, Mataji in the back, speak loud.
For Sacinandana Maharaj, question.
Kako možemo našoj djeci objasniti šta je kadaš i zašto bi ga trebali slijediti?
How could we explain to our children what is the Kaddish and why should they observe it?
Tako da shvate.
Follow it, so that they can understand.
I have heard, and let us double check with Pankajanghri Prabhu, that children under the age of 5 years do not require to follow Ekadasi rules of no grains. Is this correct, or maybe I'm wrong? Please.
I've heard an age around that time.
Yeah. Because the children, it is even said children can't sin up to, because they are not yet developed to understand these things. What I would do, I would see, because it makes cooking easier, to just serve them Ekadasi Prasadam, and if they are satisfied with Ekadasi Prasadam, then it makes everything very easy. However, if they are not satisfied with Ekadasi Prasadam, big children, like 15 years, 11, like this. Now I will try and answer. You better get this, discuss with parents also who have such children. I would just tell them the thing that the Lord has given 2 days in a month, which are very special days where a lot of mercy comes. All He asks is that we take a little regulation and for His pleasure make a little sacrifice. And I will say, sometimes you have a friend, and the friend may ask, oh, can you give me this? And then you give it to him, because he's your friend. So I would see like this, but I must say, this is the first time where I have heard about this question, and I recommend you to talk to parents who educate children, because it may be a little bit more difficult than that. They may demand to eat non-Ekadasi preparations, and what to do at that time. You have to ask educating people. I have no experience in this. Mm-hmm. Next question. Sorry. Pankajanghri Prabhu just says one can tell these children the story how the Papa Purusha, the personification of sin, enters for 1 day into the grains, and then you take them in your mouth. It's like taking a frog in your mouth who is poisonous and who can kill you, something like that. This is a heavy stuff. Maybe you need to moderate it a little bit. Helen.
I have a question regarding this auto-figureness that was in the first section of the Secrets of Kirtan. And we stated, I think it was the day before yesterday, that very few people actually want to go back to Godhead. Because we're not so good at crying for Krishna. So my question is, what are the symptoms that we are on the good way of spreading the tear for Krishna? Maybe, how do we know that the next stage is then crying for Krishna?
I see more and more devotees leave, and I really don't want such a beautiful festival to end like this. At the end, there are 5 devotees left. So this will be the last question, and we will ask Pankajanghri Prabhu to answer it, and I will also answer it in a very brief way. So let us repeat the question for all of us, and please, you stayed so long, just try to, it will be the last question. And those who have more questions, they can make appointments with Pankajanghri Prabhu and then can ask them in a private session. But it is really so, everything becomes so restless if everyone leaves. So please stay for this particular question. It is an important question. So the question is, once again, for all of you in the Prabhupada says in the first canto of the Bhagavatam that most of the people are not eager to return back to Godhead. He says only a few men actually want to go back to Godhead. Our Mataji is saying this is so because we are just not eager and we don't cry for Krishna. There is no eagerness. And now how can we see that in our spiritual journey we are actually developing this eagerness? What are the signs of developing eagerness? And Pankajanghri Prabhu will answer this question now.
The lack of eagerness generally comes from a lack of hearing about the spiritual world. The more you hear about the spiritual world, Krishna's pastimes, then the more you should be eager to go there. The problem we're not eager is because we think life's not so bad here. We're doing okay. That's the main problem. We're not very anxious to leave this place behind. That's why we should understand this. Sambandha avideyam prayojana. Material world, our relationship with the material world. Spiritual world, our relationship with that, Krishna, and who we are. When Arjuna saw the material world in the Vishwarup, he was on his knees crying, shaking. It's horrible. What is this horrible form? Take it away. What is it? It's the material world. But because he got it all at once, he saw the true face of the material world. But because we can't take it like that, so we have to hear it in small doses. But because we don't realize what it is, we're still attached. We still think it's some happiness and some safety here. But there's no actual refuge in the material. There's no shelter in the material world. But we're convinced there's a little bit, so we can find a lot of it. And then on the other side, we don't appreciate Krishna for what he is, and his devotees and his pastimes for what they are. We just think, oh, maybe imagination, maybe some nice stories. But anyway, can I tell another story? It's not quite on the same line, but it's about going back to Godhead. The one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, how do I know if I'm going back to Godhead in this lifetime? He said, you chant 16 rounds, follow 4 principles. He said, Prabhupada, how do I know if I'm actually going to go back? in this lifetime. Prabhupada said, are you following? He said, yes. He said, then that's it. He said, Prabhupada, how do I know? Prabhupada said, that is not your concern. In other words, that the spiritual master, he's going to decide if we're going back here or not. Said the spiritual master decides what is the bhakti, not the disciple. And so he said, that's not your concern, that's his concern. So we should be anxious. He said, our business is to execute the order of the spiritual master. That's all. And then going back to God, that is his prerogative.
Krishna. Very wonderful. I would really like to leave it on that sweet note. It's a very nice explanation. I mean, still you can see practically if you are liking to read about Krishna more than you like to read about something else. You can measure like this, but ultimately, and I think this is the place Pankajanghri Prabhu is coming from, is Krishna consciousness is so nice because ultimately we are taken back to Godhead. Ultimately there's mercy which is taking care of us, and that's wonderful. I just want to end the session here. Just ask Malcolm Mooney to get ready to say a few words. Maybe some technical things needs to be known, but I just wanted to say thank you very much. This was a very nice summer camp again, and really you made it so wonderful by being here and giving. Also thank Igor for his Dvevnik. My God, that was this good. It's becoming better every year, and I also thought very nicely our Gorane was singing yesterday and touching our hearts by his song. Did you also feel that was really a deep thing? And I want to thank our Kirtan stars, the young Kirtan stars. What is your daughter's name? Lena. That was not planned, isn't it? She just took the microphone. Lena, dobro Kirtan, dobro Krasnin, dobro Sritsa. Yes, very nice. And, but really, most of all, I want to say thank you really for coming and being such serious devotees and being so willing to advance in Krishna consciousness. We can feel now the atmosphere is quite nice. Can you feel there's a devotional atmosphere? Bhakti is more present here, and that is because you are eager to come here and to tolerate the storms. And today in my room, I was coming after the bathroom, and all of a sudden 5 people were jumping in my room. They were frogs, picked like this. And I was just, Hare Krishna, I just came from the bathroom and I was not ready for the darshan. You know? Frogs were there. You know, I really thought, this is really finally some simple accommodation. And thank you for tolerating this. But really we are not here because of accommodations and so on. We want this bhakti atmosphere, and we want that our heart is full of bhakti. And I really want to say, in the mood of Pankajanghri Prabhu, something is happening when you are here. You may not understand, you may not know, but Krishna is working on you, and you will see that when you are back in your particular towns and so on, that something happened, more purification was going on, more Krishna. So I want to request all of you to take your hands And let us say the prayers to Prabhupada in gratitude. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyade Shatarine Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sudhyadevi Pranami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarurascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I wish that you come safely home, and I wish that whatever presents were given to you during your stay by the deities, by the devotees, may stay in your heart, and you may be successful in your attempt to overcome your obstacles in your life, that you become more Krishna. And I wish you that you become more Krishna conscious. Thank you very, very much. And Hare Krishna. Also, thank you for inviting me again and again. I'm so happy here. Forget everything else. So nice here. Our Madhva Muni will now give us the final information.